Namaste and welcome to class. And thank you so much for sitting with me with your undivided attention. Before we enter into the theme of our class today, I want to extend to you my most sincere gratitude for walking with me the whole entire year and years in this journey of self-discovery and self-awareness. You're surely my inspiration. You're surely the one that I'm focused on it to help and aid your own upliftment. So I hope that in these holidays you have a wonderful companionship, abundance, realizations, love, and peace. And peace is the theme of our class today. Have you thought about why we, in this specific times of the year, we talk about peace, or we wish peace, and with peace and prosperity? But we don't really take our time and see what really is peace. We think it's the absence, perhaps, of conflict or war or something that is agitating you. But peace is a little bit more than that. Peace is a consequence, and it's a consequence of 7 steps that we missed. The first step of peace is when you start certain initiation in yourself, you get a sight or something that awakes your enthusiasm. For example, in the first year or days of the new year, you have certain willingness. Oh, in this year I'm going to lose weight. In this year I will be more compassionate. In this year, and you make a proposal of some sort. Yeah, that's valid, but it's a proposal that is on a linear time. So if you ask yourself in June, for example, how is your proposal going? You will see that, oh, I totally forgot about it. Because that proposal is not based in certain inner willness. The willness of giving yourself something that you absolutely know that is in cohesiveness with your divine attributes. So it's not about losing weight or gaining more relationships or more money in the bank. It's not an external thing. It's certain reflection or something that comes out of a reflection that is I am right now here, and my next step is this, and I am willing to take it. So in that, then, it's like you sign up a contract. And in that signing up a contract, you need the strategy of how is the best way for you, accordingly to your capacities and attributes, what is the best way that you can flourish in that. So you put a strategy, you give yourself a perception, and you put a strategy. So, okay, the best way is if I move to another country, or if I learn a new language, or if I embark myself in certain course or strength, more my meditation, whatever it is that fortify that attribute, that first willingness. Then the third stage of peace is love. Is when you appreciate that you are able to love your choices and your perception, your way. It's not only gratitude for what you already have, but it's the love of engaging yourself in new experiences and something that promotes the evolution of yourself. You have to love it. You have to have the involvement and the nourishing for that particular willingness and for that particular perception. Without love, then it won't happens certain cohesiveness, because love is cohesiveness. It's not necessarily a sentiment, it's not necessarily a feeling, but a sense of cohesiveness, that things get together. And that's when synchronicities start to happen in yourself. And synchronicities within, you start thinking, oh yes, this is the best strategy. And then you open a book and then it gets enriched by just simple details. That enrichments of details in your life, a phone call for somebody, signals, is love. Is life is loving you and giving you everything that you need in order to maintain that willingness and maintain that perception, maintain that divine drive. And the next step of peace is when that love and that perception and that willingness, it remains the same, not polluted, contorted, manipulated. It maintains its purity. If you, in the beginning of the year, you say, okay, I am going to see that I have been in the extreme of ambition, let's say, or competition, and my next step is to either to see it and be okay with that experiment, or see what are the consequences. You in the way, in the path of that experiment, of that willingness, you don't change your idea. You don't change and say, oh, now I am not going to work in ambition, I'm going to work in compassion. No. You need to maintain certain purity of intention through the whole entire experiment of your life. It can be divided in chunks, right? Collectively, we have decide to divide by years, the 12 months and the 12 houses and so on and so forth. But it's mostly from the date of your birth. It's okay, what is my next year? My next evolution, my next step, and you need to have that purity and consistency of maintaining that awareness. That only happens if you have them. The sixth step, which is rhythm. You have to have the rhythm and concentration to keep acting actively in what you have been willing to accept, willing to love, willing to perceive, willing to maintain is in its pure form. Is something that it reaffirm in action. The action reaffirm your intention, and therefore you are training yourself to be inwardly the creator of something that you are expressing. And then, finally, if you maintain the rhythm as long as it is possible, as long as is needed to be, it comes the completion. And in that completion is peace. You are at peace. Like at the end of your life, if you can imagine right now your last day of life, and you are almost closing your eyes, you are departing, are you going to be at peace? Are you in a state of completeness where you have lived every single moment without avoidance, without contortions, without indigestions, without deviations, without conceptualizations, that you have lived really at heart with your life and companion with your life. You have animated your divine attributes constantly and with awareness. So the completion at peace usually is at the end of the year, right? When you look back and say, what did I promise in the January or in the beginning of my relationship, or in the beginning of my job, or at the beginning. You have to look back and see if that completion have been deviated, if I have been diminished, and if so, stay with the same willingness, with the same theme of evolution. Because it's in that at the end of your life and at the end of your relationships, you will find internal peace where you're fulfilled. You have never failed because you have lived activating what you love the most and what you are wired to express, to share, and to give to the world that you're existing. I thank you very much for sitting with me. And again, I wish you a very lovely, wonderful, peaceful companionship and sharing in these holidays. Namaste.